Welcome to What the Fuck Wednesday, the live stream relationship advice show here on the Debsterism channel. I have on a sweater because it's cold in here. I had the heat off all day because I wasn't home. I walked in here, my teeth start chattering. I'm like, wait a minute. And it wasn't enough time to warm this place up. So I was like, let me put this little sweater jacket thing on. My brother gave me this for Christmas a year or two ago. I'm like, ooh, this is nice. This is nice and fluffy. So anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show on Sunday. If you didn't get to see it, look for this thumbnail. Look for this thumbnail because this is the show that we did. It was kind of a last minute thing. It was a pop-up. That's what I call them when it's last minute. And it was an excellent, excellent discussion. Women all shared their stories about dating and their different perspectives about online dating. And we talked about some stuff that's in the news and, you know, where we go from here. And it's just really interesting. I don't have the answers, but it's a great discussion. And you probably have some comments that you'd like to make underneath the video. Also, let me remind you that this is coming up at the end of the month. You have a couple of more weeks to register for the Just Say No, How to Say No webinar for young women to teach you how to find your voice, turn people down, not always be a people pleaser, thinking that you have to be nice and not hurt people's feelings and never say no or never say, I don't think so, I don't want to, those kind of things. You think you can't say that? You've been really struggling with that? Then come through here and we'll teach you how to get past that and go into 2024 with a new attitude. Okay. So that's enough of my commercials for the day. Let's move on. It looks like from the cover page, we have 24 questions today. So let's get going because this usually takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get through all of this. So let's start with question number 1. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Tucson, Arizona. Let me get to the chat. Sorry, I forgot about that. What's up, everybody? Yeah, my brother has great taste. It's the one that's out in D.C. I'm about to go on a first date, but found out that my friend likes the same guy that I do. Oh, I'm 26 and I recently hit it off with a 24-year-old guy from my friend group. Here we got that friend group shit again. We've been texting every day and have a genuine connection and we'll be going on our first date next week. I found out yesterday that a good friend of mine likes the same guy. She did not tell me this herself. I was told by a mutual friend. Regardless, I now feel incredibly guilty and don't know how to proceed. What should I do? You should go on the date, and let me tell you why you need to stop tripping. Number one, this attitude that you have, a lot of women have that. They think that because a friend of theirs likes a guy, that they can't like the guy back. Let me tell you how this works. The man is a free agent. He picks who he likes. You all don't decide who he likes. You all don't decide who he gets to be with, who he dates, nothing. You don't decide anything. 100 different women can like him. You can know them. You cannot know him. Your own mama can like him. What's going to matter is who he likes. And that's the part that you ladies rather just don't seem to want to think about. That's the reality. He's going to ask out who he wants to be with. He's going to call who he wants to call. He's going to text who he wants to text with. Nothing about you and what you like and trying to stake a claim and run other women off and all this kind of stuff is going to make a difference. So stop with this. You don't feel guilty about what? You mean it's like you feel like because she likes him that she staked a claim and she has ownership or something? You don't own anybody. Even if you're married to them, you still don't own them. Okay, they can pack their stuff and get up the next day and decide that this marriage is over and there's nothing you can do about it. Did you realize that? It's the same thing here. And y'all are just young people just going on a date, okay? You don't owe her crap. And you don't say she's like your best friend or relative or anything. She's just a, quote, good friend, end quote. If she didn't think enough of the dude, if she's such a good friend, she would have told you that she liked him. But she didn't. So you just act like you didn't know nothing about it and you go on your date because it's irrelevant information. What counts is who he likes. And evidently he is vibing with you. He's not thinking about her. So you stop thinking about her. And if it should come up where she or one of her little flying monkeys comes around and try to give you the business about it, you say, look, what I want you to do is I want you to take all of that dragon drama over to dude and ask him if he likes you enough to ask you out and see what he says. If he says yes, then I'll sit down. But otherwise, this is a free country. He's a free agent and he's going to do what he want to do. And you don't control that, and neither do I. And then just leave it alone. Yes, wasn't that an amazing show considering it was so last minute? What's up, Mika? Oh, look at the Pablo Escobars here. Man, everybody's here tonight. Jasmine, Kimon is back. What's happening? It's like all the old crew has showed up tonight. All right, so let us proceed to question number 2. This is a young lady in the 28 to 34 age group. She's Caucasian from Denver, Colorado. So I'm an issue. Does this mean that I'm giving my boyfriend an ultimatum? My boyfriend and I have been together for about 6.5 years. Oh, 6 years too long. I'm 31 and he's 30 now. We have had a decent amount of ups and downs in our lives and careers, and that has flowed into our relationship. However, overall, we are happier now and doing well as a couple, and have always been incredibly committed to each other and our relationship. We have been seriously discussing getting married for the past few years, but the timeline just keeps getting moved out and out. At this point, I think I'm getting scared that it's never going to happen, and I feel the clock ticking. It's honestly becoming increasingly anxiety-provoking for me because I absolutely want to get married and have children. We are going away on a big backpacking trip in the spring, and I've made it just about as clear as I can that I'm hopeful that this is going to be it, like maybe 10% expecting that engagement without saying it out loud. Is it an ultimatum for me to stay in a really respectful way? If you aren't ready by then, I can't waste any more of my life waiting. Not in a you must do this, but more of a make a decision one way or another. It feels so pointless to have this trip in my mind and as the be-all, end-all date without giving him the chance to make his own choice. And I feel like if I don't say it out loud, I'll just keep making excuses to let myself wait. No, what you're going to do is shut your mouth until the trip is over. That's what you're going to do. Because you jumping the gun here. Now, if you feel like this is, because I mean, a lot of women, the guy takes them on these mountain hikes, whatever, and then up at the top of the hill with the Alps in the background and the cows in the field down below and all that stuff. They drop down on that little raggedy knee and then they pull out that ring and they propose. And it's a big scenery thing. And they set the camera up and they take pictures and they video it and this whole thing here. And so he could very well have something like that in mind. I don't want you to ruin it with your anxiousness, your anxiety. So what you're going to do, though, is if this trip concludes and there is no proposal, when you get back home, you're going to say, I'm going to give you exactly 30 more days to make a decision. During that 30 days, I'm going to we'll just be just like normal. But at the end of that 30 days, if you have not stepped forward with a date and a ring, not just a ring, because that could be a shut-up ring. You want a wedding date and you want a plan in place for us to be married, then I'm going to move on because I've already, been with you 6.5 years. It's some of the best years of my youth. And I don't want to waste any more of my time on a man who's not on the same page as me. And I mean, this is not a pressuring you. This is nothing about I'm telling you what I want. And it seems that you don't want to give it to me. So there's no reason for us to continue to be together. And you be very calm, just like I am right now. You don't yell, you don't rant, you don't threaten, you don't scream and cry and all that old stuff either. You just talk to him and just tell him, this is it. This is the buck stops here. And it's time for you to shit and get off the pot, sir. And if you don't, then I'm out. Boop. And that's it. That's all you have to say. And it's not necessarily an ultimatum because you're not demanding that he do anything. You're just telling him that, he has 30 more days to make a decision. And it's time to either shit or get off the pot. And if he still doesn't feel like he's ready, he still doesn't want to or whatever, that's fine. There's no hard feelings, but I'm not going to give you any more of my time. That's it. That's a you decision. Okay. I don't even understand dating somebody for 6 years, 6.5 years. I don't understand it. Question number 3, especially when she wants to be married. Now, see me, I could probably at this stage of my life date somebody for 27 years because I'm not trying to get married. And so that would be fine with me. But even that, I'm like, you look the same. I need a new face. But, for a lot of women, young women like her that want to get married and have kids, then they're holding themselves back by aligning themselves with a guy who's just waffling like this or just playing around till the woman he really wants to be with shows up. Either way, it's to your best advantage to cut him loose if he's not gonna. You give him that 30 days and then that's it. And in the meantime, in those 30 days, make plans for where you're gonna be. Question number 3. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. She's African American from Austin, Texas. The male in question is 28 to 34. Summary of issue. My boyfriend told me that I need to lose weight. I have weighed the same since we started dating. Is it time to break up? Ooh, this sounds juicy. This is not a conversation I was expecting to have with my boyfriend. We have been dating for 2 years. I'm not going to lie and say I'm skinny with a flat stomach because I'm not. I have a little belly fat. I have thick thighs. But my weight has not increased since I started dating my boyfriend. My boyfriend is on the skinnier side, and honestly, this never bothered me, and I never thought it was necessary to bring it up because I love him. Deb, my boyfriend has told me from the beginning that he loves thicker girls, and he thought my body was perfect. So I didn't really understand when all of a sudden he brings this up when I've weighed the exact same since we started dating. He basically told me that I need to lose weight, and his exact words were, not saying you are fat, but you need to lose weight. You're getting out of shape. Not sure if you have noticed. I was just so shocked to hear this. First of all, we haven't been talking much lately because of his hectic work schedule, and he told me today that he has a lighter load, and this is what he decides to talk to me about. I told him my weight hasn't changed since we met, and he says, honestly, you have belly rolls, which you didn't have before. I've always had belly rolls. I had belly rolls when we first started dating. He kept insisting that I didn't. He's trying to gaslight me about my own body now. He said he wants me to do it for my own sake and for me to take care of my health because if I don't do it now, I'm going to be lazy and get fat. I asked if he's still attracted to me, and he claims that he is, and that it's not like he was calling me fat, but just letting me know that I have more belly rolls. Wow, I know what I have to do. I just can't believe this is coming from someone who I have dated for 2 years, someone I love and cherish. I look exactly the same. Maybe this is just his way of letting me know he doesn't want me anymore. I do want to lose weight. I work out consistently, so that's not the issue. I just need to work on my diet. I have periods of motivation where I want to lose weight. I work out every day and I eat healthy, and then I tend to lose that motivation. But he's just making it seem like I'm super obese person who weighs more than 500 pounds when I'm just a tiny bit overweight. What do you suggest I do? Well, you could lose 100 and whatever pounds he weighs right now, like overnight, instantly, by dumping that, dump the chump. But let's go back to this and let's talk about this seriously, because you say you weigh on the scale the same thing. Do you know that does not tell anything about your body composition, though? So he said you're getting fat. He might mean that you're getting squishier because you're losing muscle mass, especially if you're doing crash dieting and you don't say what your exercise program is. Does you just get on the treadmill? You do the elliptical. What do the ride the stationary bike? What is your exercise program? You jump around in the aerobics class? I mean, what? You didn't say. So, and how long do you exercise and how many days per week? If you're not doing weight training, then it's highly likely that your body, even though your scale weight is the same, you've lost muscle mass, and then your body is fatter, you're squishier, you're fluffier, you're softer, you're mushy because you don't have any muscle mass. So that's the problem with women who they're afraid of weights, and they think that if they lift weights that they're gonna turn into a man. Or I don't know. I've heard so many crazy stories. It's ridiculous, but that's what you need to do. You need to lift some weights, and I'm not talking about sit your butt on those machines. I'm talking about using some dumbbells, using some kettlebells, using some body weight exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, that kind of stuff. Develop muscle mass. Then the fat rolls that you're talking about will go away. So I'm thinking he's talking about that. Of course, he could be that isn't the case, but I think that's what's going on, because even you admitted that you've always had fat rolls. And so, you're overweight. You admit that you're overweight. So I'm going to say start there. Don't do this for him. Do this for yourself. And then when you looking fly as hell, leave his ass, because there's no way for him to talk to you. I don't like his delivery at all. What you need to do, you need to lose weight. You don't talk to your beloved like that unless you're ready for the relationship to be over. So you think about that, because you don't say what else is going on in y'all's relationship. All of this working, him working all these hours and stuff. Are you seeing the results of that in financial, like bigger fat paychecks? Or he just away from the house claiming that he's working? There's a lot of ways, a lot of investigating to do here. Because, sometimes when men get to starting to criticize you, it's because they met somebody else and they're trying to, they're trying to put a wedge between the two of you and distress you enough and make you feel bad enough and hurt you enough that you leave them. They don't want to be the bad guy and break up with you. They want you to break up with them. So, I'm giving you all the possible options. You are going to have to take them and run with them and figure out which one applies to you. But I do think that the main thing you need to do, though, is if you aren't doing any weight training, you need to start. Okay. If you right around 30, you start losing muscle mass, no matter what you do. So you could be eating the healthiest diet in the world, you're still going to lose muscle mass because it's a process of aging. So to combat that, you need to start doing some weight training. Question number 4. This is a female in the 18 to 21 age group. She's Caucasian from Derby in the UK. And this is another female in the 22 to 27 age group. Is a other person. Summary of issue. My best friend's boyfriend keeps trying to contact me and befriend me. Oh, that's some messiness. My best friend has a boyfriend, and he's a bit odd. He's lied about many things, ruined a lot of outings we have gone to. Just not the greatest guy, and I just don't understand his appeal to her. When they first started dating, he found my Instagram by going through her followers, found my main and private account, and then started commenting things in my native language on my pictures. He then began texting me like we were best friends. Even when I had a falling out with my best friend and they had a break from each other, he still tried to text me, and I told him, don't you think it's inappropriate to be drunk texting me when you know me and your girlfriend aren't friends at the moment? I want to know how her boyfriend got your phone number so that he could text you. How did that happen? That's so inappropriate. But let's move on. He then replied with more drunk nonsense, saying that he's not going to change for anyone. Bear in mind, my friend was with me when this all happened, and I told her exactly what he said, and we saw the text together. He didn't know we secretly made up. They got back together, and I straight up told my friend, please tell your boyfriend to stop texting me. I'm always blunt to him, but he's not taking a hint. Okay, but did your little silly ass block him? You want everybody else to do the work that you should be doing. See, you full of shit. That's basically what this is. Let me see what other bullshit you put on this page. Okay, so she replied with, it's your fault for entertaining his nonsense. Clearly, he just wants attention. Exactly. Because you put in no moves other than telling her what to do. You didn't do nothing yourself to keep him from contacting you. That's why I say you full of shit. I removed him from all social medias, and he then made another secret account and requested to follow me. My friend also said he brings me up in conversation sometimes, but he only told me one thing he said. But you still didn't block him on your phone. That's what I'm talking about. Anytime me, her, and him are out, he singles her out and tries to talk mainly to me. And I've told my best friend about all of this, and her excuse is literally he just wants attention. So again, you know all this bullshit is going on, and yet you continue to put yourself in their relationship, hanging out with them like it's a couple, and then here's your ass. See, again, you full of shit. You talking out the side of your neck. You talking both things. You saying you don't want his attention, but yet every opportunity for him to give it to you, you right there. You full of shit. I spoke to my friend's sister and told her that I feel like it's really weird for him to try and get this close to me when I have shown no interest in getting to know him, especially as he's constantly stressing my friend out. My friend's sister agreed that if her boyfriend was texting her closest friend, she would bring it up to him and tell him to stop straight up. All y'all are silly. You got a man who's trying to flirt with your friend, you dump that dude. You don't talk, he continuously keep checking him and talking to him and stuff like that. You get rid of him. So then that way, if he wants to go over there and bother somebody, he's free because he's single. He can do that with no problem. And if she wants him, she can have him. If she not, then he's just gonna be single and go find a new willing victim. So now in the closing, you ask, how do I properly bring this up with my friend and explain to her that he's being inappropriate? I don't want this to ruin our friendship. And I've told him multiple times, we aren't friends and he shouldn't be texting me like we are best friends. He can't text you if you block him. He can't reach you if you block him. Have you blocked him? Hell no. You know why? Because you like him. You like drama. You like him texting you. She should stop being your friend. And that's, guess what? That would solve a lot of this problem. The second thing is, you want to bring it up to her that he's inappropriate. The one who's inappropriate here, well, both of you would be. Both of you would be inappropriate. He's not inappropriate by himself, so are you. That means I'm still trying to figure out how he got your number in the first place. Like my friend, I was friends with her for 25 years or something. And I knew her boyfriend, and when I was there the night they met, they dated for years, they got married, they was married for years. To this day, I don't have that man's phone number. Why would I need her man's phone number? And it's the same thing with you as her friend. Why would he need your number? And her husband didn't have mine either. So, I mean, it's like there has to be boundaries in relationships. Your friends stay your friends, his friends stay his friends. You don't need to call his friends, and his friends don't need to call you. Your friends don't need to call him, blah, 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 vice versa, all that stuff. It doesn't need to happen. Y'all, you're doing too much. And then it creates all these kind of problems like this. Anytime there's going to be the two of them out somewhere, you don't need to be anywhere in the scene. Stay your ass at home or go somewhere else. If you're out with her and then he magically shows up, you get in your car and you go home. Uber, Lyft, whatever, taxi, bus, whatever it is, you get away from them. If that's the situation you just heard, and then suddenly he shows up. If you really want to keep this friendship, I'd be done with both of them personally. I don't like drama. She gave you her, yes, that was probably a test, cookie face. That's probably a test. You did good. Good job. Good job. Yeah, she's not trying to block him. She likes it. She just wants something to bitch about. She wants something to complain about. She liked this dude, chasing after her. But he's nasty and trifling. I wouldn't want nothing to do with him. He's a disrespectful, this nasty. Ugh. Let's move on. Question number 5. We got 24 questions tonight. We usually have 25, so I'm getting free if I won. This is a young man in the 18 to 21 age group. He's Latinx from San Diego, California. Summary of issue. I just found out that the girl that I've been talking to is only 17. I'm uncomfortable with our age difference. How could I cut her loose without hurting her feelings? We are both university students. She's the first year. I'm in my second. We have 2 classes together and take the same bus home by mere coincidence. We share a lot of interest in people in our classes and have talked about how similar we are as people. About a month ago, we started texting all day, every day, and FaceTiming until the early morning hours on weekends. Until yesterday, when the topic of birthdays came up. She told me that she was turning 18 in 3 months. I am 21 in 3 weeks. I've been really uncomfortable since that conversation and can't help but feel like our relationship is inappropriate. I don't think I want to pursue a relationship with her considering the current social climate and the fact that she is a literal minor. I really don't know what to do though. Is it possible to naturally distance myself without hurting her feelings? Please help me. I don't know who else to ask because I'm afraid of being judged. No, you're in the right. And all you have to do is tell her, I really enjoy talking to you. And you sound like a great young lady. The problem here is that you are a minor under state law, and I am an adult. Anything that is of a physical nature between us, or that even appears to be inappropriate in any kind of way like that, that's a jail sentence for me. So I'm going to leave you alone. I want you to understand why, though. I'm leaving you alone. When you turn 18, look me up. That's what you're going to tell her. Well, we don't know if he cut her off then and there. That doesn't mean that he didn't, but he wants to figure out a way to let her know, why. So he just found that out. So now he's uncomfortable. And that still doesn't mean that even with them texting all day and all stuff that that it was anything of a sexual nature between them. Any conversation. He said they just texted and they would FaceTime. That doesn't mean that they had any physical contact. So, I mean, at this point, he obviously hasn't done anything of an illegal nature, but he can see where it would go if he kept this up, because they're just going to get closer and closer, closer and closer. And so he doesn't want to get closer and closer to a minor. That's why he's writing. So he hasn't done anything wrong yet, but he doesn't want to. And that's why he's writing how to dip out of this situation without hurting her feelings, because she really hasn't done anything wrong. She's just too young for a guy who's 20, almost 21 years old. So that's his point. And that's what I would tell you to tell her. It's like, you are what they call jailbait. And I'm not trying to do all that, especially in California. I know this young, okay, they live in this white, area. It's more integrated now, but we're talking 20 years ago. And he was in high school and he tapped this little white girl, right? He's black. Tapped this little white girl, and her daddy found out that his precious angel is no longer a V, and that it was given up to a little black boy. He went to the police. This kid got arrested, and it just so happened the girl was 17 and he was 18 or 16. Yeah, she was 16 and he was 18. So she, technically that's statutory rape. They arrested him. They took him. He didn't have to do any jail time, but he was on probation for a long time. It was a hot mess. So this is real. And I know these people, this young man that this happened to. So this young guy here that wrote in is smart. He's not trying to put himself in any situation, because in California, they, if somebody presses that case, you getting arrested. That's just the way that it is. Now, it seems like most of the parents and stuff don't press it. They don't press it. But yeah, he's only 20. He's going to be 21. She's 17, going to be 18. 18 and 21 that's all right, because girls are more mature than boys and they're both legal adults at that point. But, right now she's still a minor. And it's not like she's going to be 18. He's going to be 28, 27. He's only going to be turning 21. So that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, it is. But honey, her father was just irate. I don't know what, religion, I don't know the significance of it to him, or if it was just the race issue. I don't know. I never talked to the guy, but I know when he went, the police came to the house, they got to get a little dude. And so, yeah, it was a big mess. It was they had to hire it was it was a hot mess. All behind him getting some coochie he shouldn't have been getting. Question number 16. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Portland, Oregon. The young man is 22 to 27. Summary issue. How do I tell my new partner about his breath? Why do we keep getting these breath questions? I think people hear it and they hear the other person get their questions and they want to talk about their breath too. Hold on a second. I have to drink I'm drinking this cherry juice. It's supposed to help keep you from getting as sore when you work out. And people say it helps if you have arthritis or something too. I don't know, but whatever. It tastes good. I love it. I could drink gallons of this stuff and then just blow up to be the size of a house. But I limit myself to this one little bottle a day. Okay, so she want to tell him about his funky breath. I'm 23 and I've been seeing this guy for nearly 3 months now, and I still cannot get past how bad his breath is. He is 25 and smokes cigarettes, which I know contributes to it, but the smell is completely different than that of the typical cigarette breath that I've dated smokers before. It is so bad that I have a hard time kissing him, especially open mouth, so I can taste how bad it smells. You can taste how bad it smells. Okay, that is some seriously funky breath. I don't want him kissing my skin because then I can smell it on myself. When he says stays over, he doesn't brush his teeth, which makes his breath even worse by tenfold and really irritates me. Okay, why are you dating this nasty fucker? Why are you doing that? Do you know he probably has like germs and bacteria and stuff all up in his gums? And every time you kiss him, that stuff is transferring into your mouth? See, I don't do bacteria. I'll be giving his ass some Listerines. Like before you even stand too close to me, go in there and use that Listerine and rinse out, brush your teeth, and then rinse your mouth out with some Listerine. Yeah, he needs some Listerine, not that scope and all that little perfumey stuff. He needs something that's going to jump in there and be like bleach in his mouth and kill everything. That's what he needs. Listerine does that. I remember the commercial. They show the bacteria on the little thing, and then they show it swimming, and then they showed another side where they put the Listerine, and then they show how few of them things were still moving. That's what I'm talking about. But see, these are old commercials from like the 80s, but still. Okay, so she says, I have lightly brought it up before and said that I can normally tell when he's not smoking as much because his breath will smell better. It's the difference like night and day. I know smoking is one of the hardest things to quit, and I don't expect him to do it for me. And I'm not really sure how else to navigate this situation. If the roles were reversed and I was him, I would probably die on the spot if someone told me my breath smelled chronically bad. But it's pushing me to a point where I might have to end this relationship because I don't think I can handle it anymore. Advice? Yeah. I mean, he's just nasty. You say he don't even brush his teeth. You know, that's just, see, that to me, you don't brush your teeth and wash your ass. I can't with you. I cannot deal with you. I have this thing about germs and bacteria. I cannot. I told you all about how before when I was in high school, well, I was in middle school. I think it was like 8th or 9th grade. And we were supposed to do that experiment, right? I forgot my little onion skin that my mother carefully peeled for me at home in the refrigerator. So I had just licked this little slide and put the little cover on there and slid it under the electron microscope. And all the shit that was wiggling and jumping and just eating across the slide, I was so grossed out. I never kissed anybody until I got to college. Because every time I thought about that slide, I was just, that stuff was just wiggling, like wiggling. And some of it was moving fast and some of it was moving slow, but everything was moving. And I'm thinking, this is in my mouth? This is disgusting. And we used to brush our teeth and floss and use Listerine all the time, every day. And I still had all that stuff. So you can imagine somebody like him who doesn't use it. Yeah, original Listerine, the real stuff. Aqua say this is crazy. Girl, that is this show. You over here, that's what this show is, crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. Some of the stuff that comes through here, I just be like, wow. I don't know what else to say. This is crazy. Yeah, his mouth has got gangrene and shit in it. Oh, hell no. He couldn't kiss me. You braver than me, girl. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would direct him to the Listerine. And if he don't want to do it, then direct him to the door and tell him, well, this is over, little funk mouth. We can't do this. Question number 7. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group. She is Caucasian from Denver, Colorado. The male in question is 35 to 42. Summary of issue. My partner wants me to pay for something that I don't think I should be obligated to pay, as it's not financially fair to me. My long-term partner and I, both in our mid-30s, had a water pipe burst and it cost $5,000 to repair it, plus a $2,800 water bill. My partner owns the house. I pay half the mortgage. Why? Legally, as the owner, he is responsible for the high water bill since it's his pipe that burst. He thinks since it's a bill that I should split the $2,800, but I'm not sure I think that's fair. I have no ownership of the home, and any investment I make towards his home/equity, he gains from it, not me. I contributed a ton of labor into his home too. For context, I also make significantly more money than him. but we split everything equally in regards to bills, chores, dinners, and vacations. Am I wrong if I don't split the water bill from the burst pipe? Deb, what is fair here? I also want to support my partner, not have him feel stressed, but I feel like giving him $1,400 where he thinks splitting the bill is the right thing to do. I can't tell if I'm just being a penny pincher and not helping him when he's in need, or if it's fair, or if it's a fair ask from him. Just so it's clear, insurance won't cover the water and the utilities will only credit back a couple of hundred. He received an email notification when the previous month indicated there was a leak. Our regular bill is about $150, and the new bill was $600. He fixed it as soon as he received the $600 bill, but then in the next month, the leak was getting worse, so the bill went to $2,800 before we shut off the valve. Not asking this from a legal point of view, more from a relationship standpoint. Well, obviously, since I'm not an attorney, that's a duh. He says he would do the same for me, and I believe him, but it's also easier to say that when you're not the one paying. He's also short on cash, and with Christmas coming up, I feel bad because I can afford to help out, and the $5,000 repairs was a large expense he had to pay on his own. I don't give a shit. That's what happens when you're a homeowner. And what he should have done was get some kind of insurance to cover that. Like, normally people have that kind of stuff to cover, I don't know, such kind of problems like that. Electrical wires, stuff that goes wrong in the walls, pipes bursting and ruining floors and walls and stuff like that. They have insurance for that. Refrigerators going out, ruining the whole carpet, the whole tile and flooring and stuff in the kitchen, running out into the carpet and all this kind of stuff. They have insurance for that. Now, because he chose not to pay the premiums, that's his fault. He should have done that. He wouldn't be having this problem. The other thing is you need to remind him is that you're a tenant. Basically, you're a tenant. And just like the landlords, if you were in a building, apartment building, you're in an apartment building and the pipe burst, they wouldn't be looking for the tenants to pay half because you don't own the property. You don't pay, and you're not obligated to the bank. You're not obligated to the county or state for the taxes and stuff. This has nothing to do with you. So what I do suggest that you do is, so the bill's usually around $150, and you guys split that. You could pay the whole $150. Give him $150 and say, this is all I'm going to pay because this is what I would normally pay for the water. This is it. This is what you get from me. And if that's not good enough, then let me pack my shit and get the fuck out. And you can pay this mortgage all by yourself. That's what you could do. Because if you make more money than him, why don't you buy your own spot? And if you get a 1-bedroom condo, why don't you get your own stuff and stop paying half his mortgage? What's wrong with you? You laying up there, you doing half of everything. So he's not really, where's the relationship part at? You're like a roommate, a bang maid. That's what you are. And he got you there for the financial convenience, as you now notice. So yes, that's why you upset, because you never really understood that you only there for his convenience. Because you and your wallet make life easier for him. Get your shit and move out and stop this. I tell you women to stop living with these motherfuckers anyway. She ain't a housemaid, she's a bang maid. There's a difference. He gets to bang her. And plus she's doing half the chores and all this other shit here. And paying half of everything. And paying on his house. So he gets more equity faster. And he gets wealthier while you get nothing. You stupid. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, he's using her. And now she sees how much he's using her, because he just being bold with it now. He's not even trying to pretend that it's about some love and stuff. He's just like, give me $1,400 because my pipe burst because I didn't fix it in time. Please. He would be... Get out of here. So anyway, that's my suggestion. You need to move out. And all that money that you be giving him, go and put that into a place for yourself and get up out of this fool's place. Stop letting yourself be pimped like this. It's ridiculous. Thinking that you're in a relationship. Your ass is just over there being pimped. Just the bottom bitch for real. I tell you, some women are just dumb. I guess that's how these guys get away with it. They just be stupid. You're just dumb, just like, anyway, question number 8. This is a young man, 28 to 34. He's African-American from Los Angeles, California. Summary of issue. Did I dodge a bullet or not? I'm 30 years old and recently matched with someone on the swipey thing. We're planning to go out for dinner. When we were discussing plans for dinner, she immediately asked if she could borrow money from me so that she could find someone to watch her kids. I immediately perceived this as a red flag and I blocked her because from my past dating experiences, I have been taken advantage of far too many times. So, do you think I dodged a bullet or did I mess up? Well, I don't know. It depends. I'm gonna say this. Usually not on the first date, but like, guys know if you're a single parent that, usually, I mean, most single mothers aren't balling. They might be making it work and doing okay, but if they want to go on a date with somebody, try to get a relationship established, you got to pay a babysitter. And I don't even know what the current rates are for babysitting. Do you guys know what the current hourly rate is for a babysitter? I mean, I know it would be pretty expensive if you're on a tight budget. So she would want to go out with you, but maybe, she couldn't afford it right now. She's between paychecks. She got her hours cut. I mean, you didn't really ask any questions. You just blocked her. So you just shut everything down. I have had guys, and they were, they tend to be a little older, and some of them had kids themselves, and they seem to be aware of this fact. And so, we went out of time. We went out, my cousin would watch her, or my auntie would watch her. And they're like, well, I know your family is watching her and stuff, but here's $25 to $30, just give it to them because, as a thank you for watching your daughter. I know you don't feel like you have to pay them, but, just give them this anyway. And so I would, So, but those are guys like that are a little bit old. They're older than you. And I think a little bit more aware of, the realities of stuff. And then when, my auntie and them, they moved away. So then I had to hire people, to do it. And a couple of guys would say, what's going on with your babysitter and stuff? You need me to help pay some. One guy he paid the whole thing. And another one, I said, well, maybe half. How about that? So he paid half. And they did it without a complaint. I mean, they know if they really wanted to go out with me, which evidently they did, they knew that I needed somebody to watch my daughter. I wasn't going to leave her with anybody. I wasn't bringing her. So that's the only option. And it's like, so it just depends, what your situation is and how you feel about it. There's no hard and fast rule with that, I wouldn't want them to give the money to me though. I didn't want the money to pass through. That guy did, he just give this to them. And I gave it to him because my auntie and my cousin. So, each time he did that, I gave them the money. But like in a situation like this where she doesn't really know you guys don't have a track record yet, I would not have asked you that. And if you were more astute like these guys, you would say, what's your sitter's name and number? And I'll transfer him or her, whatever, the babysitting fee. How much do they charge? Or I'll find that out from them. I'll transfer the babysitting fee for them. How about that? Or half them, whatever. And then you give it directly to the babysitter. You don't give it to them. That would be the only difference. But, sir, you at that age where you're going to start, you're in the 28 to 34 age group because, you kind of old. You ought to understand this by now. A lot of people in your age group have children, whether were single parents or whether they're divorced or, in my case, like a widow. So, I mean, in any case, you don't have nobody to help you. And going out is a luxury. And if you have family to watch your kid for free, then you got to pay somebody. So, you're in that age group now where this is a reality. You're going to be dating women that have children. So you need to get your mind adjusted to the fact that, this is this might keep happening. So you got to figure out what you're going to do about it. Okay. Think about it. Okay. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying think about it. Question number 9. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group from Fort Worth, Texas. The female in question is 65 plus. So it's got as high as our form goes, y'all. I don't be going like, 80 to 89. This is just when I got to 65, I said 65 and over, and that's it. Summary issue: without seeming cruel, how can I end this, quote, friendship with someone who is driving me crazy? I'm 28 and I have a neighbor who is in her early 70s, and a year or so ago, I wound up chatting with her a few times. She seemed polite and pleasant at the time. While we were talking, she mentioned needing somebody to help her get groceries and stuff like that. And as a single girl without much of a social life, I offered to help. Dummy. It has now become a nightmare. I don't want to make this a novel, so I'll just give a couple of examples. But I could carry on all day with the things that this woman has done. Okay, so she doesn't have dementia, she doesn't have Alzheimer's, but she goes to the doctor regularly. She has contact with relatives over the phone and they visit. Okay, then. Okay, so here's an example. She likes one particular brand of and flavor of lunch meat that's pretty difficult to find. Knowing this, I keep my eye out for it. I found packages at different supermarkets here and there and picked them up for her at her request, paying out of my own pocket with promises from her to pay me back. Each time she has invented some crazy reason why the products aren't up to her standards and refused to pay me, demanding I return the majority of them, and then taking weeks to write a check for whatever packages for whatever reason she decided to keep. She asked me to get bananas and demanded they be returned because they weren't perfectly yellow and had a few spots, which is like, that's how bananas are. She texted me. I was clear that they must be unblemished. Okay, nah. She also tried to trick me into spending hours on the phone with her on an almost daily basis. I've explained to her many times that I work full time and do occasionally hang out with my friends. And just recently, I've met a guy I'm seeing, so I'm not constantly available. But she would call me on the phone claiming to be having some kind of emergency. So I call her back. And when I do, she's miraculously fine and just wanted to chat for hours about her digestive issues and obnoxious political opinions. I am done, but I don't want to be mean to her because her issues are clearly born of some kind of personality problems that she can't help. That's what you think. Something isn't right there. What can I text her or say to her that will end our friendship politely and kindly, but still end it? I can't ghost her because she lives right near me and is definitely the type who will not take the hint. So I don't want her showing up at my doorstep if possible. Okay. Okay, let me go back to this bullshit you wrote. This spineless, weenie ass bitch. That's what you are. You need to get your shit together. One thing I cannot stand is grown women who don't have a fucking spine. Okay? You just let yourself get played and gamed on. Where's this? Oh. Okay, I see what happened. I didn't go back for it. All right. So she's 28. You're 28. She's in her early 70s. You started talking to her. Okay, now you went to the thing where you were looking for her lunch meat. You got the lunch meat for her one time, and then she decides that this is substandard and she don't want to give you your money, or she gives it back to you and tells you to take it back. That is the point at which you should have never bought her ass shit again. And you should tell her, one thing, I've been out of my way to help you, and now you acting like this. Don't look for me to get you shit else. I'm not getting you nothing. And even if you want something from the store, you need to call Instacart or somebody who cares. It's not going to be me. I'm not getting you nothing else. I want you to understand that. Ungrateful wretch. Okay, that's what she would have got from me. She wouldn't have wanted me to. Okay, but you instead, you double down and you keep putting yourself. So see, you involve yourself in the situation. You put yourself in this position of somebody who's weak, who has no sense and has no spine. And so she gonna keep matching because that's what people do when people present themselves as being willing victims. And that's what you did. So then she gets you bananas, and because they weren't perfectly yellow, it had some spots and stuff like that. See, but you weren't supposed to get her nothing because she messed up about the lunch meat. So this is on you. And if she didn't like the bananas, you say, well, just stuff the banana up your ass then. I really don't give a shit, but I'm not taking them back. And if you don't want to pay for them, that's fine. But just don't ask me shit else. Okay. So again, you had another opportunity to tell her the same thing and shut her down. Then, she keeps talking to you. Why don't you change your phone number? Did you ever think of that? You can't change your number. Change your current phone number to some VoIP line. Get you a new phone number. Okay. That's what you need to do. Then she can call that VoIP line and she can talk until her fingers fall off and her eyes roll back in her head and she dies from exhaustion. She will never get you. Okay. Then you say you don't want to be mean to her. I don't understand why not. That's the only way you do get rid of people like this, is to be mean to them. Because otherwise she's just going to keep hounding because you just present yourself like a rug to be walked on. The only way she's going to respect you is if you rise up and act like you have a spine. You need to go to my seminar, the webinar rather, on how to say no, because you just, at your ripe age in your mid-30s, you still don't know how to say no. And this is embarrassing that you're this old and this weak. It's just embarrassing. Most of the young ladies that write this column who have struggled with saying no are in their late teens to maybe mid to late 20s at the oldest. You in your mid 30s in the downstroke to 40 and still stupid. It's embarrassing. Get your shit together, chick. Question number 10. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. She's Black from Charlotte, North Carolina. Summary issue. My boyfriend cheated on me with a hooker while I am pregnant. Should I forgive him or just stay alone? Me and my boyfriend are together for a year and a half. We're living together for 6 months. But after we found out I was pregnant, and our relationship suffered a lot because of my anxiety. We had a lot of fights and we had a lot of hurtful things to me, including that he wouldn't marry me anymore. We had a lot of conversation about it before living together and agreed that if I ever ended up pregnant, we would get married and build a family. And out of anger and frustration, after he said he wouldn't, I asked him to get out of the house, and he did. I went through a lot after that, and I was scared of having to take care of one more child alone because I already have a son of my own. I told him that I would get into a termination, and he was completely against it, but didn't want to do anything to help me. Okay, so at that point, you should have gone and got the termination because it's about you. He didn't want to do anything to help you, and you were scared to have another kid to be responsible for. You already got one. I'm going to tell you what my grandfather said. When you do something once, it's a mistake. When you do it twice, it's a habit. So you up here making a habit of having miscellaneous stray motherfuckers kids, right? I know people will be like, you shouldn't say that. People can't. People love their children, and that's fine. But it's like when you write and you have a problem because you did that. I mean, a lot of women do that, and they handle their business, and it's not a problem. They do what they do, and they're not writing this column to whine about stuff. You are. So in a situation where you're saying that you had all this anxiety and y'all fighting and you can't handle it, you already have one kid, you're a person who should get a termination. That's what you should have done. You should have made the decision that was in your and your child's best interest, not worrying about him. But you didn't do that. You worried about him instead of yourself. So now you're going to be stuck with 2 kids, have 2 baby daddies, and, so young, you're probably going to end up with 3 or 4 of them because you just don't manage your life well. You don't make smart choices. Okay, so what else did she say? So she went through a lot. She was scared to take care of the child alone, and my mom was the only one to stay by my side and told me to move in with her in another state, and so I did. Me and my boyfriend continued talking, so I gave up on the termination. We agreed on child support, and I was at peace with having another child, dummy. But after a while, he texted me about wanting to give a chance to our family, about marriage, and said he would come over so we could start a new life in a new place. I was so happy that everything was working out. I found an apartment for us, and we were only waiting for it to get up finished. So he came over since my mom don't like him anymore and do not want, so host him in her house. I think she's supposed to say to host him. We continued our relationship on distance. Everything was great, and we were happy with the pregnancy now. And he asked about every doctor appointment and every examination. He was very excited. 2 days ago, he called me and told me that he was missing Nook and went after a hooker, that he felt horrible about it and was scared that now he had totally ruined everything we planned. He asked for forgiveness a lot of times now. I only listened to everything he had to say, asked a few questions about how it happened, and told him I didn't know what to do about it and to think. I really wanted a family with him, and I'm so confused now. I don't know what to do with this. I just can't believe he did that while I'm pregnant. Why not? You must be missing the part about you ain't married. You a baby mama. Guess what? Baby mamas don't have no rights, no privileges, no claims, no nothing. But a baby mama is a single pregnant woman. What he is a single pregnant baby daddy. A single daddy, single man who's a baby daddy. But just notice the word there. Both of y'all are single. So you say he cheated. I don't see it that way. I say if he really wanted to be with you in a committed relationship, the second you turned up pregnant, he would have been proposing and y'all would have went down to the city hall, whatever they have in your town, and got married. Because he wouldn't want his kid to be this lady stray little bastard child. He would have wanted his kid to be born within a marriage. But that's not what he did. And yet you can't hang on to this dream that you wanted a family. I just don't understand how you young girls think. If you want a family with a man, you make him marry you. If he doesn't want to marry you, then you go find someone who does, and you have a family with him. What you don't do is get yourself pregnant and be breeding, let this motherfucker have use of your body, and you're not married to him since that's what you want. You want to have a family, you want to be married. If that's what you want, you go after your dream and you don't sacrifice it for some dusty. And that's what you did. Yeah, no logic at all. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And like I said, once is a mistake, but you're doing it 2, 3, 4 times. That's intent. So in essence, you fucked yourself over. Okay, you did this to yourself. Question number 11. This is a male in the 22 to 27 age group. He's a white guy from the UK. Summer issue. Wonder if I made the right choice. I left my girlfriend because she was constantly thinking or comparing me to her ex who unfortunately died. Ooh. I've been with this girl for almost 3 months. I know it doesn't sound like too much, but at the same time, we saw each other every day. She met my parents many times. I was feeling deeply in love with her, way more than any other girl I've had in my life. I believe she was really into me as well, as we were constantly giving each other a lot of attention, compliments, and positive vibes. However, since the beginning, I already kind of knew that 3 months before knowing me, her boyfriend died in a car accident. I mean, she was a bit unfair to me saying it in the first weeks of dating that wasn't her boyfriend, but her, quote, best friend. But yeah, more or less, I knew the situation. Okay. I gave her the possibility to decide if she was ready or not for a relationship, and she was the one asking me to be her boyfriend. At the same time, she was making many statements regarding her ex, but not too many. But in the last days, she's become really crazy, and I just don't understand it. Basically, she started talking a lot more about him and comparing me to him. I wouldn't say that I'm jealous of someone who's not here anymore, but more like I constantly felt not enough, as if she was thinking about him when she was with me. Some examples. She told me that she dreamed about him while we were sleeping together. Number 2, she told me that her ex, inside her the day before dying as they wanted to have a child. Number 3, she told me that she would have liked to K herself so that she could reach out to him. Number 4, she told me that I'm unsensitive because I shouldn't feel sad while I hear this stuff, end quote. Number 5, she told me that she still has pics of his private parts. And number 6, she told me angrily that she hopes the most important person in my life will die so that I know what she feels. Wow. I had one long night crying while sleeping with her, and in the end, I decided this is too much for me to handle. I understand she may miss him, but her phrases sound disrespectful to me. Moreover, I am relocating to a new country in a month, and all of this makes me feel less ready for a long-distance relationship. Do you think I should have stayed with her? No, you should have left her long ago. You should have left her the very first time you noticed that she was still fixated on him, because that means that she's not ready. Having been there myself, I know exactly. It takes a long time to get over something like that. I mean, it's one thing if you break up with them, but if you're with them and then it's suddenly yanked away, the shock of it, it would take her, I mean, first she'd have to grieve before she could even start getting over the relationship. And she met you so quick after, she's still going through that process. So she's all these sniffs that she's thinking out loud. She's thinking out loud, and you happen to be there to hear it. What you need to do though is, I'm glad if you said it was too much for you to handle and you left her alone, that was the smartest thing to do. Yes, she does need therapy. I got grief therapy. It was the best decision that I could have ever made. Because when you're in the middle of it, you don't think you need it. You think you're fine. You think, I got this. I got it under control. You don't have shit under control. Very difficult thing to adjust to. So yeah, dude, you made the right choice. So just block her and go on to your new country and call it a day. Question number 12 of 24. This is a young man in the 22 to 27 age group. He's of mixed racial heritage from Southern California. The female in question is 22 to 27, and she's Black. Summary of issue. Wondering if there's anything I should and shouldn't do when staying with my girlfriend's parents who currently live in poverty for the holiday. I grew up middle class, so I don't want to do or say anything that might inadvertently hurt them. Dude. What do they do in grief therapy? Well, you sit there and, they basically let you reminisce about the person and, you work through your feelings. Because, in spite of the fact that, you may have nothing to do with their death, you feel guilty for some reason. You feel like, you should, okay, in my case, this is the only time I've ever felt guilty in my life. Remember, I tell you guys how I used to be mad at him and I would send him to his mother's house? I'd be so mad. I'd scream and yell at him. I'd tell him, get out, go to your mother's house. I felt so bad after he died for the times that I did that because, because I wished that I would have had that time back that I wasted being mad at him, sending him someplace else. I wanted those days, those hours, those minutes back. Of course, you can't get them back. So there's, resentment. You're mad at yourself. These are all emotions. Plus, you're grieving because the person's not there anymore. You have to come up with a whole new life plan because all your dreams, we planned like our future together. We were young. We planned our whole future together. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And we're going to go here. We're going to go there. And we're going to have 2 more kids. And, he's talking about he wanted 5. I said, you get 1, maybe 2. So better make it work. And then, so we were talking all this kind of stuff, right? We had all these plans. When that ended, I had to come up with a whole new plan for my whole life. Like overnight. That shit was rough. People don't really think about it. It was hard. It was so hard. And then I had to partition myself because I'm trying to grieve myself, but I also have to manage my daughter's grief. So I can't break down. I can't lose it because I need to be here for her. That was the hardest shit. I don't even know how I survived it, to tell you the truth. I look back on those days and it's like I was like a zombie just walking around, just doing stuff. So that's what grief therapy that works with. All those emotions plus many more. So, and I just gave you like the tip of the iceberg. There was just so much going on. It was horrible. It's a lot. So anyway, that would answer that question. So back to the column. So he want to know if he should or shouldn't say when he goes into the Roach Motel. The first and last time I met her parents, they were visiting family who lived just an hour or so away from us. So we drove over to see them and do introductions. But my girlfriend is going home for the holidays, and I've been invited as well, will be staying with her parents. She made a point to tell me that her parents live in poverty. She lived in poverty too up until she moved out. She'd been doing very well for herself before, and since we met, that means they must be living in the projects. But she was very clear that the situation she's in now is extremely different from the one she grew up in, and she said it's nothing like I've experienced before. I would really like this trip to go smoothly and avoid any faux pas in interacting with her parents. I don't want to accidentally make a comment or take an action that has no meaning to me because of the economic situation in which I grew up, but it might be considered rude or careless by them. Other than don't be an asshole and treat them differently, I'd love to hear any advice from you and the ladies of the squad. And to be extremely clear, I don't judge people based on their economic circumstances, but rather on their character. Her parents are wonderful people, and I generally just don't want to behave in a way that would inadvertently hurt them. Well, I don't know. I don't do poverty. I went one time to a dude that lived in a poverty environment, and I was like, never again. I just don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Because chances are, if she's saying they live in poverty, chances are, like I said, they live probably in some kind of projects. That's what's coming to mind, living in projects. So you're going to, be in an environment where there's a lot of, dirty people. There's going to be dirty diapers around, chicken bones on the stairs. It's going to smell. People have going to pee in corners. You're going to find beer bottles and liquor bottles different places. It's going to be noisy, loud stereos and stuff like that because people don't have no whole training and they don't care. And, you might see paraphernalia, see people smoking. There's just going to be a whole bunch going on. What I advise you to do, number one thing that you can do best is keep your mouth shut. Don't say nothing. Talk to her parents, just be talking about regular stuff. Talk to her about regular stuff. You don't see nothing and you don't hear nothing and you don't ask no questions. And then when you get finished, write me and tell me the tea, and then we can talk about it. But you're not going to do that with them, okay? You're not going to bring any of that up. If you see a roach, you're not going to say nothing. You're just going to ignore it. If you see rats and mice, which you most likely will. You're going to act like you don't see nothing. You're not going to run screaming like a girl and say, "Oh my God, did you see the size of that thing?" You're not going to say that. You know, you just going to have to learn how to shut up and just be like the stone wall. Nothing bothers you. You know, you're like in a Zen state and you don't say nothing. You're going to see everything and you're going to definitely make a note because I want to know. I want you to tell me because I'm just curious. But yeah, you don't, that would be my advice. Because I can't tell you everything for each kind of scenario. I don't know what's going on there. But in general, that would be my advice. Shut up. Don't say nothing. Laugh, joke, enjoy the food, enjoy the people's company, and then that's it. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Because I've been in them environments. And that was my approach, and that seemed to work. No, don't bring bug spray. I don't know. It's just it's a challenge. You know, if you're not used to that kind of stuff, it's just challenging for you to be around it. And it doesn't mean that the people aren't great. Like he said, her parents are wonderful people. It doesn't mean that they're not. But you know, it's just the environment. You know, and then before you leave, if they have roaches, be sure to shake all your clothes out and stuff. All your shoes, all your clothes. Make sure you don't bring none home with you. And everything goes right into the washing machine in hot water when you get home. In case there's some roach eggs in your clothes, you want them to be washed away. That's all I can say. Question number 13. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Las Vegas, Nevada. I cannot believe on my advice column we are talking about roaches and how to evade them when you go to people's houses if they have roaches. Oh my. Oh. Oh. Okay, let's move on. So she's in Las Vegas, Nevada. Summary of issue. I'm struggling daily with the emotional pain from the cheating while he seems blissfully happy. Every day I feel this awful aching in my heart for a man that left the children and me. He cheated and lied and then left for this woman. He seems happy now in his new relationship with his woman, barely seeing his children. He has written me off as abusive and as just an annoyance in the way. Meanwhile, every waking moment of my life is dedicated to the children and their needs. I'm exhausted. I'm grieving. I am really struggling. Life feels so very unfair. I like to think I am a good person. I don't understand what I did to deserve such pain. It hurts so badly. Do you have any advice for me? Well, let's see. You notice you don't say that it was your husband. You don't say that. So what does that mean? That means that you a baby mama that had multiple children by a man that you were not married to, and he's single, and you're surprised that he's acting like he's single when he was single every moment that he was with you. You guys get where I'm going with this? I mean, I know it sounds harsh, and a lot of women just don't want to admit this. They don't like me to say this kind of stuff. They get upset. Well, no, we was together. You know, we was a couple. We did everything like a husband and wife. Yeah, except say them vows and sign on that marriage license. The important part. You didn't do that part. Even like I said, even if you get the divorce later, you still was married. That was still, a different situation. You got different entitlements under the law for your. Don't get those kind of legal protections. So, I mean, I'm not saying that he was right to go off with some other woman and hurt you like that. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is you should have expected it because that's why y'all didn't get married, right? Because if he really wanted to be with you like that, he would have, wanted his kids to be, he would have wanted everybody in the house to have the same last name and be married and all this old stuff here, But that wasn't what happened. That means that wasn't what he wanted. That means he wasn't choosing you. So why did you go and have more kids? Like I said, one is a mistake. Well, if you got kid number 2 and 3 and 4, you did that shit to yourself. Exactly. Anna said it right there. Exactly. Style by Chrissy. He's still single, but they just don't seem to get that, or they don't. I don't know what to say. Question 14. This is a young man in the 20 to 34 age group. He's Caucasian, from London. Summary of issue. As a guy, is it okay to not date a girl because you find her to be too short? Too short. Okay, I know a lot of girls want to date a guy who was 6 feet plus, but as a tall guy, I am not interested in short women. I try not to be rude, but I don't want an enormous height gap. Okay. I understand that short people are people too, damn. But at a certain point, the height gap just looks silly. I had a girl come up to me to ask me out on a date, but we were over a foot apart in height, so I turned her down. Is a guy not dating someone based on their height shallow? I am sorry if I offend anyone with this question, but I really need to know. Oh, us little Smurf people aren't offended. Maybe up there with your Jolly Green Giant ass. We all right. But dude, I don't think it's no more wrong than a woman would be who's a tall woman wanting to not date a short dude. Or even a short woman who doesn't want to date a short dude because she might not be attracted to him because he's, her same height or something. People have different things that turn them on. Okay. And for women, it's kind of biological that a man who is tall is perceived, he has better genes. His bones are the proper length. His muscles are long and, he can reach things, like up in the trees and stuff to, get the fruit that hasn't fallen to. You don't have to get the low hanging fruit. He can get the fresh, unpicked, ripe, beautiful fruit that's up at the top of the tree because he's tall. These are like, ancient survival type of things that women just excite women. And if you have your kids, your kids are fathered by someone with those kind of genes, then, chances are your children are going to be tall and, strong too. So I don't think that I'm not going to judge this at all. You find it not attractive to you, not appealing. That's fine. Don't feel guilty about it. It's no big deal. But a lot of women ask men out. I'm not one of them, but a lot of them do. I would die before I asked a man out on the date. I'm not going to do that. First of all, dating is just a chore. So it's like you got to be starting to ask him out. Then that means, you ask him out, that means you expected to pay. I'm not trying to do all that. Question number 15. Female in the 22 to 27 age group, no location provided. Summary of issue. Is it okay to ghost if the date was bad enough? I normally think ghosting is childish, but I went on an absolute nightmare of a date last night, and I don't care if I ever talk to this guy again. We agreed to meet for dinner at 7. He texted me at 7, just as I arrived at the restaurant, and said, actually, I'll be there at 7:30. I'm doing laundry. He finally showed up at 7:45 after I'd already ordered and mostly drank a whole beer, and he brought his own drink from outside. Okay, so we're off to a great start. He looked way older in person than his photo, so I gently asked him his age, expecting him to say 38 to 40. He said 29, and then asked, "You're older than me, right?" I was so shocked. I just stared at him. Then he said, "Aren't you the one with kids?" "Deb, I'm only 27 and I do not have kids." He's had me confused with some other girl. He seemed to realize he's fucked up, so he apologized, and then he asked, "Well, what's your name again?" So yeah, I went on a date with a guy who had no idea who I was, even though we've been talking daily for 2 weeks. Wow. And you stayed? The waitress came to take our order, and I said, "Fair warning, I'm starving." He replied, "Oh yeah, you probably didn't eat all day because of this." I was confused, so I asked, "Why wouldn't I eat all day?" And he said, "So you won't look fat in that dress." And he started talking about popcorn, especially hentai. Okay. And yet you stayed. He texted me this morning and said, "I had fun on our date. It was too short, though. Time really flew," which is hilarious because from my perspective, time was crawling. I know it'd be polite of me to say I'm not interested, but considering this guy forgot my name, am I free to ghost and move on? Absolutely. What you should have done, though, let me correct your dating style. The second this guy disrespected you by calling you at 7 to say, "I'll be there at 7:30," you were supposed to say, "Never mind. I have things to do. I'm on a schedule and I don't have time to stand around and wait for you. We'll just do this another time," or not at all. And then you hang up your phone and then you go in there where his name is, his number, and you block it. and then you go and sit down at the restaurant, or you go somewhere to another restaurant that's your choice, and then you buy yourself a nice dinner, and then you go home. Since you're already out and dressed and makeup and stuff on, may as well enjoy your evening. And in a situation like that, you sit at the bar. That's where all the single men are. And you sit there, and then inevitably there'll be somebody cute on the other side over there. You pick up your drink and you go saunter over there and sit your little drink down and say, "Hi, what your name is?" "My name is Sally Sue. I was supposed to have a date and I got stood up. What's your story? What are you doing? What brings you out here tonight?" And you just start to talking to people. "Honey, I believe in just, say, bruh, this can't be real. Girl, this kind of stuff be happening. These dudes are weird. I tell you about the dude that I went on no, these aren't jokes. These situations, these men are seriously this dysfunctional, and these women are seriously this weak and spineless that they allow this kind of treatment to happen. You guys, how many years have I been doing this? How many hundreds of thousands of letters have I done, which is the same thing? Because in my early advice, okay, I'm doing 25 a week now. In my early weeks, early months, years of my advice column on AskHeartbeat.com, I would do between 50 and 100 letters every week. It was in written form, so people had to read it. It wasn't like this technology hadn't been invented yet, and so people had to read the columns. But it was okay. So we just say 100 every week. So that's how many 52 weeks a year. So that's 5,200 letters every year for I don't know how many years did I do that? 96 to about 2000 and something when I started Surviving Dating and went on Blog Talk. So, we're talking hundreds of thousands of letters. Hundreds of thousands. And these are common themes. So you guys don't say stuff like that. It just happens too often. Why do you think I'm doing this webinar about how to teach women how to say no and have a damn voice and spine? If they had it together, I wouldn't need to do this advice column. We wouldn't have these kind of problems because women had their shit together. Yeah, I mean, it used to be surprising. I used to just, be blinking and like, this can't be happening to these people. I mean, why are they letting this happen to them? But then, I keep seeing it. And then we're in a different generation now. These are the children of those people that, from when I first started, they were young adults, or, teenagers or whatever. These are their kids now. And they're just the same shit. They didn't teach them anything. So I'm like, wow. So yeah, you can ghost. You can ghost. Feel free to ghost. Question number 16. This is a young lady in the 34 to 42 age group from Yonkers, New York. Summary of issue. My family expects me to spend thousands on travel every year, but no one visits me. I'm 36 and I have family who all live in different states. For holidays, it's always my oldest brother who hosts. If I'm going to see my immediate family, I have to travel to them. In my entire life, no one has once come to visit me. Even when I lived 30-minute drive from my mom, she didn't come visit me because she didn't like my city. The expectation my whole life is for me to go to other people. I couldn't make Thanksgiving because I couldn't afford the trip. It would have cost me $700 flight and Uber. No one wants to pick me up from the airport. My cousin, who was only 25, passed away suddenly a few months ago, and I wanted to make it to his funeral, but it would have cost me $1,000 with flights and hotel. Now to see my sister is an $800 flight for Christmas and New Year. She's offering to pay half. This is the first time this has happened, but it's still an expensive trip. Well, so $400 shit, I know it's a lot, but it's nothing if you're going to see your whole family. I am single. I have no one to share expenses with. I work really hard to support myself, but feel like I'm drowning in the financial expectations my family has of me. Maybe because this has been going on for so long, they just expect me to go. If I don't, I've never seen anyone. It breaks my heart knowing my whole family's together for holidays and I'm alone. I feel taken for granted and unimportant. How do I handle this moving forward? I have expressed myself before, but since everyone is married with kids, no one wants to reciprocate the effort I put in for 15 years, even when they had a chance while still single. Okay, well, you know what? You just a big ass baby because you sitting around talking about some shit that happened 15, 20 years ago and you still sitting up here bitching and whining about it. Get the fuck over it. Now, you're an adult with a job. If you need money for travel for the holidays, do like everybody else to set up a special secondary savings account for your tickets. Start putting a little money in it every week, right? Right after you get back from your next trip, start putting $25 a week, $20 a week, whatever you're gonna do. And then by the time the holidays roll around again, you'll have the money. And it won't be a big financial pain. If you need to, get a second job. You single and since you ain't dating all that much, you got time to do something, go do something to make yourself some more money. And quit whining. So just for them to see you now, they have to pack up their kids and buy tickets for 4 or 5 people. Who you think want to see your ass that bad? That they'll be spending $4,000 or $5,000 to come to your house when you could just by yourself, you don't have nobody, not even a dog. You could jump on a plane and come see them. And all of them are there, and you in one place by yourself, they don't only see you, and you want them to pay for 4 or 5 people? That's not gonna happen. You tripping. Get over this shit. I just told you how to make it work, and that's how it's gonna work until you either move to where they are or you decide you don't care anymore and don't want to be bothered with them, period. Just do a Zoom call and while everybody's there at the holiday dinner, say hi, you know, you're all having a good time and say hi to them on Zoom and then go and sit down and go watch Netflix like everybody else. I'm gotta find me some place that's gonna be open on Christmas because that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to a restaurant bar and have myself some food and some drinks and then bring my happy ass home. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not going to my relatives for Christmas. Dang, the host is savage. Just said, I am thoroughly convinced that the majority of women out here will never have any common sense discernment. I am unfortunately in full and solid agreement with you. But I'm still gonna keep up the good fight. I have to keep hope alive. You know how it is that this little raggedy show, this one little lonely voice on the internet can impact somebody's life in a positive way. And I do get letters. You know, people make comments and posts and tell me that, you know, they had the impact that I've had on. So that's what helps me keep going. Because, you know, it's hard when you just by yourself. It's just one person. But, you know, every so often somebody says, let me tell you about how ruined my life was until I came across your channel. So that works out that's pretty nice to hear. So let's move on. Question 17 to 24. This is a young lady in the 22 to 27 age group from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Summary of issue. My partner will most likely become disabled siblings caretaker in the future, and I don't know if I can handle it. Then dip out now. Dip out. My partner of 3 years has a disabled brother 2 years older, 27. He has autism, but is high functioning and able to work full-time remotely from home. He has some health issues that aren't major, but require meds and occasional visits to the hospital. However, their parents have always been protective, so he is unable to cook, refill medication, or live by himself. When he's asked to do something he doesn't feel like doing, he throws a fit and the parents relent. He lives at home and doesn't pay for anything, but spends all his money on games and other things. They have another brother who is much older. That brother holds a great deal of resentment towards the disabled brother, and they have a strained relationship. If anything were to happen to their parents, the job would fall on my boyfriend. He loves his brother and is willing to take care of him. I have a good relationship with the brother and admire my boyfriend's dedication to him. However, I don't think I can handle living with him. I have a sister who's much older than me and studied abroad, so I basically grew up as an only child. I need personal space, wantonly feel comfortable living with people I'm very close to. I do love my boyfriend, though, and I want to stay with him. Maybe with time I could become close to his brother, but I have my doubts. I know it's selfish and I'm very torn. The brother wouldn't feel comfortable in a special home with outside care since he's so high functioning, but he doesn't have the skills to live on his own. I don't know if this is the kind of environment I would want to bring up kids in, but my boyfriend is amazing. I've always imagined a future with him. I'd really appreciate some advice and help figuring this out. There's nothing to figure out. You just dating a dude. Why are you looking so far in advance and seeing trouble? First of all, you know, your boyfriend has this cushion because the parents are there, right? So he doesn't really have the full understanding of the brunt of the work and the responsibilities involved in to look after this dude. Because the parents are still there doing most of it, right? So he helps, but he's not doing it because it's not really his responsibility. What's going to happen is your boyfriend is going to realize that he can't handle this grown man throwing fits and acting a fool, and he's going to put him in a group home. Now, group home is not like a facility like what you think. It's where people they just need a little supervision. Their meals are prepared for them. Like if they go out for work, they get a bag lunch to take with them. People, somebody already knows, always knows who they are. The people at the group home, supervise their activities, help make them sure they get back and forth to work and school or whatever. Make sure they do their homework, make sure they get doctor's appointments, make sure they get their medications. They're kind of like parent, like in dorms, you have like a house parent or something. You have a frat house, you got a house mother. It's kind of like that. But they're fully functioning, they manage their own finances, they manage their own bills, they bathe themselves, they're responsible for their room being clean, all that kind of stuff. But they are supervised and they're not by themselves. So that is most likely going to be the best place for him. So what they should have to do is start looking for one. But, you, I think, are putting the cart before the horse because he ain't said nothing about marrying you. Y'all are way too young for all of that conversation. And you just looking way too far into the future. So, you might not be there next week. You tripping. So wait, cross that bridge when you come to it, okay? Stop looking for some shit to be upset about. My God. That's when you tell people don't have no real problems. They be creating shit for 10 years down the road. Question number 18. This is a female 18 to 21 from Los Angeles. Summary of issue. I hooked up with him and his friend unfollowed me. This sounds like some juvenile bullshit. Okay, we got to get at least one of these every week. I'm curious to know what this means. A few weeks ago, I met two guys. They're very good friends. Both of them were super friendly and we had a great and flirty vibe. So we followed each other on the Instagram. Let's call them Steve and Randy. We go to the same Southern California university and meet pretty regularly and still talk as friends. But recently I hooked up with Steve. We told each other to just keep it casual and not to tell anyone yet. But just now I noticed that Randy have unfollowed me. I have my suspicions why he did that, but I need to know, what do you think happened here? I don't know and don't give a shit. Don't care. You ain't neither one of them's girlfriend, wife, sister, nothing. You two random dudes. And you putting all of this because you hooked up with one of them and the other one unfollowed you. I mean, are you losing money? Did you get F in your class? Did somebody snatch money out your bank account? Did you lose a job opportunity because of this? Can you not go on your, foreign exchange student tour to Europe now? What impact does him unfollowing you have on your life that you would sit around and write a letter to ask me this stupid shit? Girl, if you don't go and hit your books and do something sensible with your time and stop thinking about fools, yeah. This is stupid. So she don't have shit to think about. Oh, I'm gonna write advice columns and waste their time asking why do you think he did that? Like I said, I don't know. Don't give a shit. Not gonna try to figure it out. I have other things to do. I have people with real problems. Question number 20, female 35 to 42 from Tacoma, Washington. Summary of issue. I'm struggling a bit with a relationship after being single long term. I don't know what the fuck she doing. She just needs to stay off my column like this stupid shit. This sounds stupid, but I'm really hoping for advice on how to manage all aspects of my life. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'll tell you one aspect of your life. For about 22 years, I was pretty much single. A few possibilities and rings, but really at first just happy with my decision and then just happily single. Friends, hobbies, exercise, and a rather stressful job at less or more stressful locations. I could always cope as downtime to relax and meditate with yoga, long walks, etc. Best single life, I guess, that I could have, but I was always open to meeting someone. So in the summer, I did meet a man that I found extremely attractive in character, looks, sense of humor, intelligence, just in a local bar, and we started dating. He's retired, so loads of time and all was going brilliantly until I went back to work. The problem is I find work so exhausting and stressful, and I like the type of work, but often the management of a team, the admin, and constant changes and requests I find incredibly stressful. The man I'm seeing really wants to be with me. He's planning a future and wants to merge lives. I want to as well very much, but I do feel stressed. I had a total meltdown this morning as I just couldn't face the constant decisions and being positive and happy and upbeat in the face of people just not doing what they need to. I feel really ashamed, as I'm sure you'll think I'm weak, but at the same time, he said I get touchy and react badly during the week, and I'm like a different person on the weekends. Okay. I just don't know what to do. I don't want to lose him, But I feel that although he does understand, he really only enjoys the fun, happy me, and sometimes I can't be that. I could also go to my manager and ask to reduce my hours. I'm not technically a team leader, but tend to be left to do the work and handle all planning or issues that arise, which I did specifically say I didn't want to do when I accepted the position. Well, then why are you doing it? See, that's the thing about jobs. If they can get some shit out, some work out of you that would be at this pay level and this, this level, but you down here, but you can do this kind of work and they can get this kind of work out of you for free, they're going to do it. It's up to you to say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's outside the scope of my responsibility. And I told you when I accepted this position that I didn't want to do any work like that. So please find someone else to do it. Then that's when they usually hit you with, oh, but, someone else, there's no one else to do it. Then say, well, then I don't know what to tell you. I guess it's not going to get done. You better hire a contractor because I'm not doing it. And that's all you do. You have to just keep saying no until it sinks in. No matter how coercive and begging they are, you're not going to do it. I'm real good at telling folks what I'm not going to do. And they get mad, but I just look at them. I'm like, I'd be thinking, and so what does your mad got to do with me? That don't have shit to do with me. It ain't changing shit over here. I said no, and it's not happening. And that's what it is. I'm going to go to my grave, and it's still not going to be happening. I don't know what to tell you. She's just stressed. She's just stupid. And she says, I miss my friends. I don't see my family as much. I know this is natural when you meet someone and have a busy and stressful job, but I'm just not balancing anything right now. And I feel like I'm falling apart. Sorry for the long note, but where do I start? You start by going into that job and turning in your resignation. That's what you need to do. You turn into your resignation, and then you go and you find you a part-time job using the skills that you have, doing, whatever you want to do. But that's what you do. Okay, that's what you're going to do. This thing here, you seem to be one of those people that's gotten you need a lot of downtime and me time and relaxation and communing with nature time and stuff like that, to the point where it's not only affecting your relationship with him, it's affecting your relationship with yourself. You having meltdowns and shit at your age? Come on now. That's so inappropriate. That's just ridiculous, as a matter of fact. Get it together, chick. Take action. Stop just sitting around spinning your wheels. You got to do something with yourself. I don't know that she likes stress. She's trying to deal with the stress, but some people deal with it better than others. And some people, just don't do stress well. And she sounds like one of them. Maybe she used to, but now she's older and she doesn't anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to accept where you are in life and then, deal with it accordingly. So for her, getting rid of herself from that stressful job, finding another job, a part-time job or a different job that it could be full-time, is the solution. What is she going to be doing? I can't tell her that. She got to make that decision herself. Question number 21 of 24 questions. This is a young man in the 22 to 27 age group from Moreno Valley, California. Oh, I wonder where that is. Summary of issue. I went on my first ever date, and I'm not sure what I expected. Lol. To sum it up, it went horribly. Probably the most tense 15 minutes I've ever experienced. Wait a minute. You went on a date for 15 minutes? Dude. Bruh. It was 100% my fault, though. My abject lack of social skills kicked in, and I almost completely froze up. I couldn't think of anything to talk about or ask her, and I felt like I had a gun to my head. What killed me is that she kind of saw what was going on and really tried her best to keep the conversation going, but it just was not happening because I was too busy getting vertigo and sweating like a fucking pig, he says. Okay, wait a minute. I have to play my sound effect.
Bruh, 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 bruh.
Oh my God, this poor child. Okay. He says, I ended up going into the bathroom to vomit. Then I made up some shit about having to pick up a friend and just got the fuck out of there after paying, of course. Right now, I'm just trying to decide if I should call her to explain or just let it go. What do you think? I think you would feel better if you called her. Okay. You need to call her and say, I just want to apologize because, I know I didn't tell you, but this was my first date I ever went on. And I know I fucked it up. I am just so sorry. and then try to laugh it off. Because you know, one of the things that women enjoy the most is a man who doesn't take himself too seriously. And I'm sorry, dude, the way that you wrote this shit, this was hilarious. If you had told me this face to face, I would be on the floor. And I know you meant every word of it. You were seriously stressed out, but I'm telling you, I would be crying laughing at you talking about you got vertigo. I was sweating like a pig. That shit is hilarious. So I would suggest, call her, have a conversation. I mean, I'm not saying you guys got to go out again or anything like that, but I think it would do you good and her as well. And you guys can laugh about it and then, just let it go. Okay. Don't take yourself so seriously, but this shit. He threw up and then had to pick up. This is just a bit much. But I hope that your next date goes better. And it would be better if your second date was with her so you guys can have like a do-over. Question number 22. This is a male in the 28 to 34 age group from Spokane, Washington. Summary issue. She puts her daughter first all the time about everything. I am new here, and this is my first time writing to an advice columnist, so I'm looking for some advice, please. I've tried to convince my partner to do counseling with me, but she refuses to discuss her daughter in any sessions. The daughter is a huge but unacknowledged issue. We've been living together recently for 3 years. I've always had a partner and lived with someone and kind of go with the flow and understand that everyone is different. She has not really ever lived with anyone in years, just been her and her daughter. Her daughter's 17. Oh, excuse me. So anyway, her and her daughter moved out recently as her daughter wanted her own bathroom and not to have to share with my son, who's 15. So they moved out. Yes, I am serious. Well, I wouldn't want to share with a 15-year-old boy either. That's gross. Well, I have many concerns. This is one I would like some opinions on. During the weekend, I was violently sick, vomiting nonstop. I could barely get off the bed, no energy, very bad case of gastro. I lost 4 pounds in one day after 8 hours of constant vomiting and was dry retching to give you an idea how bad it was. Wow, you were sick. She came to visit me on Sunday afternoon. She only comes when her daughter's out doing something else. Otherwise, she has said that her daughter is always the priority and will stay with her. Despite me being clearly unwell on the Sunday, she sure didn't stay to make sure I was okay because she had to leave at 4:30 to make her daughter's dinner. So left me lying in bed and went back to her kid. Now, I fully understand that her daughter was young, didn't have a car, didn't have plenty of money, and didn't enjoy eating out at every possible opportunity, but that isn't the case. Yes, I would have liked some attention. I would have also liked to seem that I matter. And I would have liked her to say, you are really sick. I want to stay and look after you a bit longer. Had the situation been different, then I would not leave her sight until she was better. I guess I just expect the same in return. Am I being selfish? Should she have prioritized my health and well-being on this one occasion? Thanks for your perspective, Dad. Well, what you have to understand, dude, is, you love her a lot more than she loves you. She loves her daughter. And what you need to remind her is, ask her, when your daughter goes off to college and meets a man and is over there doing what she's doing, what are you going to do? Because she's going to have a life and you're not going to have any. Because you've made your life all about her. So what's your plan? That's what you need to tell her. And just ask her, what's her plan? Don't make accusatory statements. You're not going to have, you're not making no judgments. You're just going to say facts. Your daughter's going to go to college and she's going to meet a man and she's going to start spending more time with him and move towards marriage or whatever. And then you're going to be left alone. What are you going to do in a situation where you've made your life all about her, but she's going to be making her life all about her new man? What are you going to do with yourself? And just ask her that, like curiously, cocking your head from one side to the next, like looking at her, like, what's the answer? What you going to do? Huh? What you going to do? And just put that little bug in her head because she's probably not thinking about that. She's not thinking about that reality. But yeah, you and if I don't know, you're better than me because I would dump her. Not because of the daughter, but because not because of the anything about the kid per se, but because she is so emotionally tied to her child. That's not really healthy for the daughter either. And so a situation like that, the mother is like absorbed with the child. The child, she's like a part of her or something. There's no separation between the two of them for her. So when her daughter goes away to college, she's going to have a hard time. She might be one of those kind of parents that packs up and moves to the city where the kid is going to college so she can be, continue the close relationship and the kid can still live with her. So be prepared for that too. But that's the kind she sounds like. Question number 23. This is a young white lady in the 20 to 34 age group. She's from Toronto. Some of the issue, is this crazy or is it me? Deb, a friend was telling me the story about a guy's wife tagging along with him to a bachelor party that she wasn't invited to, but intending to, quote, keep an eye on him, end quote. I said, are you serious? We both thought it was really weird, and it would make the entire night extremely awkward if the wife was there. This wife obviously has some control/trust issues, not letting her husband go on his own, being with his male buddies. Bachelor parties are meant for men only doing guy stuff. Same with bachelorette parties meant for ladies only. I never heard of someone's SO tagging along. Is this a new thing? No. I couldn't imagine just showing up to a guy's bachelor party tagging along with my wife. It would be so weird for everyone involved. Even if it was still a PG all guys party, being there wouldn't feel right. I've only been to 2 bachelorette parties. Yep, 2, maybe 3. I can't remember if I attended that third one. One couple was only married for a few years. All 3 parties, it was all women, and it wouldn't have been bizarre if a lady's husband, or it would have been bizarre if a lady's husband or boyfriend came along. I would think the guy is a stage 5 clinger. Am I off base with my thinking? Nope. That woman is, if it were me, okay, say I was a dude and I'm getting married, right? And my buddy calls me, I invited to my bachelor party, and he calls to tell me I'm bringing my wife. I would say, no, you not. You and your bitch ass wife stay home. Neither one of y'all coming to my bachelor party. You're not coming up here dragging her like she's your mommy. What the fuck? Dude, no, not happening. Stay home. You can watch the videos after it's over and see the pictures. And that would be the end of that. We're not going to have that conversation. And that bitch is not coming up to me and ruining my bachelor party. And if he didn't like me saying that, well, then it'll be like, well, then, we don't have to be friends anymore because you stupid. You think that you would even call me with some bullshit like that? I'm out of here. So, yeah. Can you imagine somebody that insecure? That is just unbelievable. I don't get it. And our final question for today, this is a young lady, 35 to 42 from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Summary of issue. Are relationships more challenging if you were an only child? I'm an only child who also happens to not have many friends either, so I'm used to a solitary life and I'm content. My significant other is one of 4 children and they're all married. 2 of them have kids. So a month almost can't go by without some kind of occasion, somebody's birthday, anniversary, etc. Honestly, I wish my SO were an only child too. I know many others want the opposite. I just don't care for parties or get-togethers. I don't go with him to his family functions because his family members aren't the nicest people. His mom's nice, I guess, but still not the warm, sincere type of person I wish she were. My SO is close to really only one brother, so he'll visit him for a few days about every couple of months or so. What do you think about the situation I described, Deb? How do you suggest people with such different temperaments deal with it? Do you have an arrangement or plan that you can suggest that I try? Yes. The plan is get over yourself. You picked a man who has a big family. I mean, he's close to his family. You're not. You're an only child, little spoiled brat. So you want him to be just for you so he don't have nobody else to give attention to, just to you. And that's not it. Doesn't matter how much you wish, then hope, wish this and wish that. It's not. Deal with the reality. The reality is he's got family. And the reality is his family may not be the people that you would choose, but they are his family. So what you going to do? You got to get in there, roll your sleeves up and get along with him if you want to be with this man. Because his family is obviously important to him, okay? You can't be like thinking you're going to get married to this man, have kids with him and stuff, and then you're not going to ever bring your kids around. You're not going to go to no family functions with your kids. They're going to have birthday parties and stuff like this. They want your kids to be there. They're going to have Christmas and stuff, and they're going to have stuff like that, and graduations and whatnot, weddings, and they're going to want your kids to be there. You as their mother need to be there to represent. That's what's on the horizon if you stay with this man. Now, if you can't think you can't handle that or not interested in it, then you should break up and go find you somebody who was an only child, preferably somebody who was an orphan. You don't have no family. And then all these problems you're talking about here wouldn't exist. But there would be plenty of other ones, like fears of sense of abandonment, mental issues, trust issues, inability to connect. I mean, you just trading one pile of problems for another. Now, the thing about what I've talked about, people who were only children, and as they grow up, there's going to be two responses to this. One is like you. They're like, well, I'm separate and alone, and I want everybody else to be separate and alone too. And there's going to be the other people who grew up as an only child who hated it. They hated it. They always wanted siblings. They always missed that feeling of having family around and somebody to play with, and a big sister, big brother, little brother. They missed that. They wanted. So they were getting with someone like your husband would be they would probably see his family more than he did. So there's two, I've seen it both ways. So there's no one answer to this question. And there's probably people in the middle, to go do a little both. I don't know. But I do know that for the only child thing, it tends to be one or the other. Either they jump in with both feet because they feel like they're so happy they finally got his family, especially the ones that, orphans are the ones that grew up with no mother. And now they have, their boyfriend or husband's mother. She becomes there, but they call her mom and they be all over her. Let's go shopping. It's just the most interesting thing. So it just depends. It just depends. So that's our show for today. I remind you to sign up for the webinar on learning how to say no, so that you don't look like this girl, be all bent out of shape because you did too much. You done gave people all your time, all your energy, all your money. You just get overwhelmed with responsibility and obligations because people ask you to do stuff and your silly behind don't know how to say no. You accept relationships that you shouldn't say no to. You accept friendships that you should say no to. You don't turn down your bosses when they want you to work like a slave. You don't do anything. You never tell people no. This is the webinar for you. So you sign up. You look in the show description and there's information in a direct link, or you can just navigate to Debsterism.com, Debsterism.com, and it will, you'll see the page there where you can get more information about the webinar, and then you can sign up. It's only $19. I know you spend that much at Starbucks in a day or two. So, and this is something that'll help you. So I would like to see you there if you have those kind of issues. And other than that, I will see you guys. When are we going to see you guys next? I guess probably not till next Wednesday. But you never know. If I get some energy, I might do another pop-up because that was fun. I enjoyed that. See you guys later.